So
funny.
how have you been?
I've been really good. Honestly, it seems like coming into February, the past month has been like a whole nother world
Mm,
in terms of just energy, things that are coming up to allow change and all that good stuff. So I feel like there's been a lot going on lately for the better. And I feel like we can all feel it.
yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
no complaints here. Just
That's
doing
good.
the best I can.
Yeah,
What about you?
that's all we can do, isn't it? We just got to do the best we can with what we've got at
Absolutely.
that time. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I've not been too bad. January was kind of like a bit of a January was a heavy month. It felt like a heavy month to get through.
Mhm.
As we sort of like left 2023 behind and we've come into 2024 with um yeah, quite positive energies, nice high vibes,
Mhm.
transformational energies, definitely.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Definitely
it.
for sure. Um, I've been watching a lot of people on YouTube, all these sort of, suppose like soothsayers and seers and people like that. They're talking about 2024. And a lot of them are like talking about a lot of kind of not like negative stuff, but as though there's going to be sort of like these big sort of like moments, and I think, well, I don't really feel it. I don't really feel that, but I don't know if that's something that they do just to sort of like get attention, or
Mhm.
if it's something just to keep people in like a little bit like, oh, what could that be? Like a little bit on the back foot. But what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, it's actually really interesting because I feel like I started hearing about 2024 in 2022 with like you were saying, people from YouTube. So people I've connected with that are channelers, mediums, things like that seem to be highly aware that
Mm,
there was projected possibility that 2024 holds potential possibility for energy to, like we're saying, transform or shift to maybe not see on a physical scale what can happen because that will happen last in terms of
mm,
energy. But I think we already are having energy shifting that is making the possibility of what could happen more apparent, if that makes sense.
mm,
So I don't know if we're going to like see like physical things on the earth actually change quite yet, but the energy, I believe, is setting up to allow that to happen so that we can have a reset, a rebirth, if you will, because
mm.
we're kind of sitting in that
Yeah,
pivotal space time.
yeah. It's got one of them energies that feels like it could kind of like it could go either way. It's got
Yeah,
that kind of like
exactly. That's
sort
what I'm
of,
feeling.
yeah, it's got like that sort of splitty sort of like, let's just keep this going, keep this momentum going, keep these high vibes going.
Hmm.
Don't let anything sort of try and distract you from where you are,
Yes,
where you're feeling.
that's huge.
Because yeah, because it's quite easy to get pulled back into the drawl of that kind of soup, isn't it? Very easy.
Absolutely. And with that being said, knowing that there is potential for this year to have a lot of energy changes, you better believe that we're going to have polarity and duality, the opposite doing whatever they can to, make the energy one way versus the other. We
Mm,
have polarity, that's inevitable. So
yeah.
the more that we can just flow and go and trust and love and all that good stuff, it's going
Mm,
to be inevitable that we're going to be creating a beautiful space within to ripple outward,
yeah.
but there is another space, like you said, it's like a fine line of what we're going to see. Is it going to be this or is it going to be that? So I
Mm,
think it's really your intention, what we're feeling and thinking that we will see that direct effect. But it
yeah.
doesn't mean that there's not going to be the other side or polarity working hard, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think we
Yeah.
could see some inverted versus organic things on our planet. Does that make sense? I can
Yeah.
kind of go into that a little more, but
Yeah.
I think it's exciting
Yeah. It is exciting. Yeah.
to
And I
get part
think
of this change.
definitely, because we are creating that change and we are part of that transition, and every small step that we take in the right direction is another step in the right direction. And
Absolutely.
the more we're kind of in tune with ourselves, and the more we're in tune with the energy of what's going on, and the more we actually understand energy and how it operates, I think that's a big thing for this year. I think,
Oh, yeah.
I think people are going to be more in tune with the energy about how they're feeling,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
transmuting that into the everyday life, and understanding that, yeah, the physical part of it is kind of like it's the last part of the domino, really, of the whole way energy works. You have to put that stuff out there, and then eventually it comes into your physical. It becomes a physical manifestation
Yeah,
of that energy of what you put out there. So yeah, it's
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, it's really good. But it's good to see you again. I mean, you've
Mhm.
even you look like you've physically changed. You look, from when we last spoke, which it seems like ages ago, but I know it was
Right?
probably, it
So
was
true.
like last year, I think it was, at some
It's
point.
another version of myself.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, you just look like a different person. You look so much. I mean, you were bright and full of energy and lively then, but you look even brighter than you than you were then. So,
Appreciate that. Thank you. I've been doing focused, intentional work. As soon as I wake up, I try to be intentional, which starting even just a month ago, doing just a little bit here and there has made leaps and bounds in just how I feel. I'm not reacting. I feel I'm more just observing because of
mm,
that, which has
yeah,
really just changed the game, to be honest. It's like really just deprogramming that ego so it no longer has control, which is,
mm,
again, coming back to the energy, realizing the energy frequencies that we are, instead of, all these programs that take over us and then control the narrator in the mind and all that stuff, but to just separate from that, take a
mm,
step back. That's something I've really been focusing on lately, and I've
yeah, yeah,
drastically seen the changes within, as well as what I'm attracting, because
mm,
I'm doing more sound healing, which is kind of my
ah,
intention for the year, is
yeah,
kind of shifting my website to be more understanding frequencies and how we can reach a more harmonized state, what that really means. And so I've been able to, I don't know, see a clearer vision, if you will, because I'm
mm.
aligning with that. Feels good.
Um, so how does that work for you, like on a day-to-day basis? For anyone that might watch this video that's kind of like feeling like, well, what the hell are they talking about?
Right.
The people that can be stuck in the everyday life, that struggle to maybe get out of bed or whatever.
Right.
How does that work for you?
Yeah. So I think first you do need to start with your day right off the bat. Like you do need to, before you really go out and do things in your life, you really need to pay attention to what's going on within. Like, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? And what could that be connected to? Because the frequencies and energies is our toolbox to understand what needs to pivot or change in order to bring in more of our happiness, our true self, and
Mm,
bliss, essentially living. And so I think being intentional is really big. Not really that, again, that narrator in your head,
mm,
that voice,
yeah.
the monkey mind that jumps around, all of that. I think that is can be our biggest downfall if we don't master that piece of the mind. So what I mean by that is, say we get up in the morning and the first thing our monkey mind is saying is, all right, I need to go turn on the TV and go sit on the couch and watch my new show for the day or whatever. Okay, so that's just an example because I know a lot of people do that. Instead of that routine voice coming on every day, every morning, because we think the same thoughts 99% of the day, if we're thinking those same things and we're not being aware of what we're doing, we're just going because that's our routine. We're not even aware of what we're doing, what we're bringing into our energy fields. I
Mm,
mean, right off the bat, that is a big piece to understand. What am
mm,
I even going to feel for the day? What am I going to bring in for the day? And that will change everything that you're feeling,
mm,
starting at the beginning with your intention, not just going through the motions because that's just what I do.
mm,
It's okay to have a new routine, a new pattern. So I think starting at the beginning of the day is really big, but going back to frequency and understanding that when we have, when we're out of harmony, if there's a piece of our body, an energy system that is blocked or out of balance, if you will. It's like, I always like the analogy of playing an orchestra. We're all playing this beautiful symphony. We're all in harmony with this beautiful song. And then I drop my music on the ground. So I have to pick it up and get it. And during that time, I'm not sure what I'm playing. I'm not sure what the symphony is. I'm not sure what the harmony is. So I'm now playing out of what's supposed to be going on in our
Mm.
harmony. And when we're
Yeah.
playing that one piece out, it really can cause confusion. It can cause dis-ease. It can cause blockages where we
Mm.
get guilt, shame, anger, like all that stuff really comes from this blockage. But to know that we have the ability to shift that, to return to harmony, to bring in that bliss really is just feeling, having the intention, the emotions. You have to go with it. You cannot ignore. You cannot just go, 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 go with your
Mm.
programming. If you're feeling that dis-ease or any discomfort, sit with it, do a body scan, kind of like feeling through it, because it will correlate to something that has happened in your life or happening in your life,
Mm.
to look at in a different way to see, is it beneficial to me? What can I learn from this? And that will open up the path to so much more greatness, little signs and synchronicities, little angel numbers, like things will start coming in to be like, yep, you're doing it. You got it. Just like helping you along the way, because we are never alone. And that is crucial also to remember.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. That's
Kind of
great.
a ranted there for a little bit, but
No, no, no.
that's just kind of,
That's good. When you get in that flow state, you got to just say it. You
yeah,
got to just say what comes out. But yeah,
thank you.
that's really good advice for anyone really. Whatever your stage really of healing or awareness, or even if you're just like curious, like, is this actually going to work? And just
Yeah,
changing like a couple of things within your day can have a
yeah,
huge difference. And by the end of the month, you might have changed more things because subconsciously or well, consciously or subconsciously, you might not be aware.
yeah.
But it's just changing that little shift in routine ever so slightly
Mhm.
to have such a huge difference. And that's like what we were
Right.
saying before about having, the effects that we can have globally,
Mm. Yeah.
for humanity, for the planet, for nature, for the universe. All these small steps that we take, that one little change of thought process, of wanting to walk in nature or watch TV, that one little switch can make all the difference to
Absolutely.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
I just
So,
got goosebumps you saying that, because it is so truth. Like
mm.
that is really it. And the fact to think of Earth as our energy school, like
Mm.
we're energy beings, we're here to learn different ways to play with energy. What is it like when I do this? What is it like when I do that?
Yeah.
Like we don't have to, it's just crazy to think that we spend the majority of our life doing the same thing when we
Mm.
can literally do anything we want. We can create anything we want. We can choose to be and feel anything we want. That's
Yeah.
the most amazing thing about this school. We don't have to do one thing or another.
Mm.
If you're not feeling it, if you want to try something new, like if you feel stuck in your life, one little change at a time, just one slight change of your mind
Mm.
rewires your whole system to literally change the chemistry in your body. So you literally have the physical change as well. Once you change your mind, you change your life.
Yeah.
It's as
Yeah.
simple as that. And it's just fun to be able to play around. I mean, why not? We have however many
Yeah.
opportunities to do that.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's really interesting you say that because um, I've been on a, I was on a conversation today. I was on like a video call with a guy from what's it called again? Brains magazine. It's like an
Oh,
online magazine
yeah.
over in Sweden. And I think they're quite heavily they get a lot of publicity over in like America and Europe, things like that, but they're actually based in Sweden. And I had like an email from them probably about 2 weeks ago, wanting to know if I want to be like sort of like get in the magazine or get featured or something like that. And because they have sections in the magazine that to do with like wellness and health, and they're looking into
Mm,
more people that do like energy healing, Reiki, meditation,
wow.
all that sort of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, oh, that would be quite interesting. So I did actually book a call, and I booked a call with a guy today, and we chatted on I think it was like Google Meets or something for about 20 minutes, and he just discussed everything. He went through the whole magazine and gave me the whole portfolio of the magazine and everything. And at the end of it, there was like three options, of which was available for me to take if I was up for it. And I'm quite interested in taking like the third option. And so he sent me a an invite to actually connect to that, and what will happen is obviously with going in there, it'll also help with my SEO and pushing
Mm,
the website, pushing the social
right.
media, things like that. And
Awesome.
also I'll have the opportunity to write up to 12 articles about either Reiki
Oh,
or
wow.
meditation or
Oh my
whatever,
gosh.
yeah,
Ian,
whatever I
that's
feel called
amazing.
to. So I was just like,
Congratulations.
so yeah, so at the minute, today I've just been kind of like in that, when you go into that sort of like mulling stage, and you're like, and I'm like, like, but my initial thought when he told me about it and he told me the cost, I was just like, wow, that's amazing. That's like really, really good value. And I was like, yep, I'm in. And then obviously straight away after you do that and you come off the video call, the ego kicks in and starts questioning everything. And I'm just like, so
So true.
I've been in that mulling stage today. But I'm so close to just going click and just like kind of
Yeah.
doing it. So yeah.
Well, the fact that you're taking time to really mull it over and see how it feels to
Mm,
visualize, because visualization's huge, and what
yeah.
that would be like for you. I
Mm,
mean, that's really big in energy work and deciding what's best for your path and not just reacting all the time, because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
really what we have been programmed to do is react, but to be
Mm,
able to sit with that decision, see what would happen if you did and what happened if you didn't, and just see how your life would be with that is amazing. So you've
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
attracted that.
Definitely.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, it was just one of them random things that happened, and just got this like random email. I'm just like, never even heard of them.
Wow.
Never heard of them.
Nothing's random.
So I got back in touch, and I've done a little bit of research and looked, and like the stuff that they put out there is really high quality, and they have some like high
Awesome.
spec guests and people in there as well. So to
Wow.
even be considered is like a bit of a it's a bit of a
No kidding. Yes, you're doing exactly what you need to attract what you're supposed to be bringing to the planet, to the humanity. Everything is right there
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, absolutely.
That's so
Um,
great, exciting.
so what's new with you? What you been up to business wise? Obviously, when we last spoke, you've got obviously your mass meditations, which I know is a
Hmm.
regular thing. You've got your Living in
Yes,
5D project,
yes.
and you had there was something else you had as well. I think it was to do with like cleaning up around where you live,
Planet.
like your
Yeah,
neighborhood. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Anything else
Yeah.
going on?
Oh man. I feel like I always have collaborations going on. I'm really excited about this, and it's something that I've been manifesting for this year is to again, my sound healing is like something I really am wanting to focus on because I feel like it could be really big in healing the planet, healing ourselves, and just understanding energy. So with that, I'm really excited that I have created this. It's a request a custom track, and I've been having amazing opportunities with this because it's brought. I have someone that guides yoga nidra classes for really big events, and
Mm,
he purchased one of my tracks that I custom made for his yoga nidra class, and he uses that now every time. And then I was able to create a custom track for someone creating a whole other summit to bring soul purpose and awareness, essentially. So I've been able to create these music tracks for people that are able to share their journey. And it's just like this
mm.
whole huge ripple effect of just
Oh, that's
connection and
amazing.
sharing and collaboration. I just can't even tell you how exciting it's been.
I can
It's
imagine.
been, I don't know, it just really makes me excited to kind of narrow in on frequency and sound healing a
Mm,
little. tidbit, I don't know if you remember this, but I am an EEG technologist. So for a living, I literally read brainwaves in different stages and patterns. And so
Yeah,
to be
that's
able
right.
to
Yeah.
see the music effect on the brain, like that's my specialty. Like that's where I'm like
Mm,
obsessed with figuring out this frequency, what is it doing to our mind, and what is the reaction we're having? This frequency, what are we experiencing? And I mean, we have proven that with binaural beats and solfeggio frequencies, things like that. But they're just frequencies that we can merge with and
mm,
literally bring that harmonization back, because that's the frequency that that body runs at to be healthy, essentially.
mm.
So being able to share that with everyone has been super exciting. And now that we're finally warming up, coming into spring, we can finally start focusing more on the other project I have, Awakening World Project. That's the one where we're cleaning the planet, essentially.
Mm.
And I actually have plans. It's really nice out today. So later today, I'm going to be doing a little cleanup around my area. But I'm
Excellent.
excited to be able to start, I don't know, just getting more and more people all around the world excited about this, and doing a little bit here and there makes such a huge difference to the crystalline planet that we live on.
Mm.
Just giving it a little TLC with intention. The intention is where everything happens. So
That's
I'm
beautiful.
excited, doing a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Got a lot
yeah,
coming up
definitely.
for the better. It's
So
who
that,
I am now, not just things that I'm doing, is how I look at it.
yeah, it's become your purpose. It's your passion, and I know you were passionate about it before, but now you're actually living that passion. So you brought it into your
Yep.
reality, as we do,
Yeah. Yeah.
as we follow this path. So how do you create the music? Do you use singing bowls, or is it electronic music that you create yourself digitally,
Yeah.
or
Good
how do you
question.
do it?
So that's something, again, I just bought new software equipment. So I'm excited to get more um, just opportunities for tracks and loops and things. So it is electronic, but I do intentionally, like I'll have for like an intention for the track. Like this one's going to be for, I don't know, universal healing, something like that. So then
Mm,
I'll get the 963 hertz because I know that one is specific to that. And I kind of build from there. So I lay the
mm,
frequency, and then I'll do like a Tibetan bowl or another type of like a vocalization, essentially, and
mm.
I'll layer the tracks to make
Ah, right, okay.
track that way.
That's yeah.
So it is electronic. That being said, with the new software, it has the ability to record, and I have some beautiful bowls and didgeridoo I've been playing lately,
Oh,
all
fab.
kinds of fun stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah.
music has been number one lately. And so potentially I could record in the future with this new equipment. I'm really excited.
Ah, excellent. That might be something for me to think about in the future with you because um earlier this year I tried to get a friend of mine who's a Reiki practitioner, and also she uses the crystal singing bowls, and
Mm,
what we tried to do, it didn't work very well, unfortunately, but what we tried to do is I wanted her to play like a piece of singing bowl music, and then I was going to take that recording and do like a guided meditation over the top of it.
yeah. Yeah.
And so basically she wanted an idea of what I wanted. I said, let's just go for like sort of a 7 chakra thing. Let's just see how it goes.
Mm,
So that's what we did. We went with that. But the microphone and with Zoom, because Zoom's
mm,
sound can be a little bit iffy.
yeah.
It cuts off like the background noise. So in the end, she
Yep.
just did like a recording herself and then sent me the file of the recording. Um,
Hmm.
it was okay, but it wasn't overly clear. When you can get
Hmm.
that nice crisp where that sound just cuts through and you can feel it reverberate in your body. It
Absolutely.
just wasn't. I just wasn't getting that with it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so knowing that might be something interesting to do in the future, because
Hmm.
it would be really good to do something like that, or
Absolutely.
even get some sound clips for myself to use for some of my videos and
Yeah.
meditations or healing
'Cause
videos. That would be a great opportunity to do that. So
that's what I'm saying. The
yeah,
collaborations are nonstop because
yeah,
we're showing up for ourselves, let's say.
yeah. It's funny, like collaborations. That's what came in for me last year. For this year, I want to do more collaborations. I want to
Awesome.
I want to speak to more people. Like in March, there's myself and Lucy, who is a Reiki practitioner here in where I live in Darlington in England, and we're doing like a sharing circle. And it's the first time I've done anything like that, but she does them for like she does like women's circles at her house. But we're getting together to do that. So it's kind of like I'm taking myself
Wow. Yay.
totally out of the
In
comfort.
person.
Yeah, in person, out of the
That's
comfort
amazing.
zone, and doing these collaborations. But I mean, even whether they're
Yeah.
online or in person, it makes no difference because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
all connected on one level anyway. So yeah, so that's
So true.
amazing. Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
amazing
gosh.
to
I
hear.
just feel like overwhelmed right now with just pure joy, essentially, because I can just see these ripple effects happening.
Mm,
The one person we connect with and we share with is like huge
yeah.
ripples in the frequency and the energy on the planet. Like so many people are finally able to wake up essentially to the
Mm,
game and say, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to
mm,
create and be this beautiful God goddess that I am. And
yeah.
I just think it's so exciting because the people we connect with are living and doing
Mm,
it and
yeah.
examples of it, role models. So, I mean,
It's
that's
amazing to talk to
magnetic
you
in
as
itself.
well. It's really good to talk to you as well because everything whenever you speak and whenever I speak, we're getting this connection, and I'm just feeling tingles all over. I'm feeling the goosebumps,
Same.
and it's just like it just shows how powerful energy is because it's that frequency that we're in. You know, we are just in that place. So yeah,
Exactly. Run the flow.
yeah. I
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a funny tale to to tell you actually. I was teaching Reiki level 2 at the weekend, so over Saturday and Sunday with a couple of new students. And uh, the venue that I use is one that I used all of last year and part of the year before as well. So the last couple of courses that I taught last year was in September and November. And in September, on that course, I always take like a few bits along with me, like tools of different things that I use in my Reiki sessions as well. So I'll take
Mhm.
things like crystals, I'll take like Palo Santo, I'll take singing bowls, all that sort of stuff, just to give people an idea of how energy can work in other ways as well. And
Mhm.
I'd taken a pendulum as well, so people can get an idea of how a pendulum works, how you can
Yeah.
follow the energy with a pendulum.
Nice.
So it came to the end of that course in September, and the pendulum went missing at the end of the course. It was a crystal pendulum
Hmm.
with a rose
Interesting.
quartz on the end, and it had all chakra beads going up the chain.
Wow.
And so I asked all the students, I said, has any of you picked up my pendulum? I said, by mistake. Nope, none of them had the pendulum. So anyway, I thought, well, that's it. I've lost it. It's gone, you know. So I thought maybe it's in one of the bags. So I came home, checked through the bags, couldn't find it anywhere. Got in touch with the venue owner and said, look, can you just keep your eye open for a rose quartz pendulum? I said, you may not know what it looks like, but it's like a triangular piece shaped piece of crystal on a chain with various colored beads on the chain. He's like, yeah, no problem. We saw keep an eye out. So he had a look around, couldn't find anything. At the weekend just gone, uh, got to the Sunday. So when I went in on the Saturday, I laid out, there's two little tables. So on the two little tables, on one table, I like to put a selection of books and leaflets about myself, about Reiki, and then books about Reiki. On the other little table, I put all my little tools and knickknacks, my crystals and singing bowl and things like that. So they were there for the whole duration of the 2 days. There was nothing on the tables to begin with.
Mm.
On the Sunday, I came to pack everything up. So I picked all the bits, all the knickknacks off the table, the crystals, the singing bowl, all that, put them away. And while I was doing this, I was speaking to one of the students, and because she was on that course in September, and she said, "Did you ever find that pendulum?" I said, "No." I said, "It's totally gone." I said, "It's a shame because I said it was a really, really nice pendulum." I said, "I have bought another one, but I said it was just really nice to use, and I'd love to have it back because I really liked it." And then I turned to get the books, and I picked the books off the table and put the books in the bag. And I just felt drawn just to look back at the table where I took the books from. And I turned and I looked back at the table, and I just said, "Oh my God,
Wow.
there was the pendulum on the table."
Oh my gosh. I have
And there
goosebumps
uh,
right now.
and there it is.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
So
Wow.
yeah, now you can
That
understand why
is
I
a
wanted
story.
it back, because it's like it's a beautiful rose quartz. It's got
It's
the chakra
beautiful. Yeah.
beads. but like it was not there on the day that I went in and set the room up
What
because
the
I
heck?
and it
Seriously.
was just so but then it just makes you think, where's it been? Like
I know, right?
obviously somebody in spirits had it and it's just
Yeah,
kind of transmuted
phased
somewhere
over.
else and it's phased over and then all of a sudden it's just plopped back. So whether it was someone in the building that was playing like funny buggers with me or whether it was just like, let's just take it away and we'll give you
Yeah,
it back when the
haha.
time's right. So but yeah,
Oh
but
my gosh,
there it is and it just turned up
I love
and
that.
I was just
Yay.
I was my head to toe was just goosebumps all and I was just like,
Oh my gosh,
oh
no kidding.
okay.
Even the story, I had
And
goosebumps. Wow.
it was unreal. It was really unreal. I just yeah. But you can't explain it. But even I mean
Right.
the guy that runs the place, I went upstairs to see I was leaving and I said, oh, and look what's turned up. And he said, oh, one of your students must have had it then, eh? I said, no. I said, none of the students had it. I said, it's just randomly appeared
Oh my
on the
gosh.
table. I said, it wasn't there yesterday. And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's weird. I was like, yep. I said, welcome to my
Yeah,
world.
exactly. You better believe we're having
So,
some weird energy going on here and
yeah,
there,
there's some amazing
facing over.
experiences. Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. And it's actually funny you say that because just even recently I was talking with a group of people who all had several stories of things going missing and then reappearing.
Ah, right.
We just had this conversation. So it's like literally spot on with that. Um, I had one instance myself that was, it's still to this day so undeniably confusing because it was a DVD from Redbox. I don't know if you have Redbox there, but you um we got it, we rented it, we put it in the player. We went to the kitchen just to grab our dinner and sit down and watch the movie. I went to push play and the movie is not there anymore. It's not in the player. It's just gone. And I'm
Gone.
just thinking, I put it in the player, I queued it up, I was ready to just push play and go. It was
Oh.
not in the player, it was gone, and we still to this day haven't found it. So we technically like own that from Redbox. But
Do
yeah,
they
that was
do
an
they do
interesting
they
one.
do they charge you if you don't take them back in a certain length of
Yeah, they
time?
would.
Yeah.
So they got me there. It was kind of interesting, but that one never reappeared. But that one
So
definitely
wow.
phased over somehow. I don't know if there was
What was the
what
movie?
where we lived was. Ironically, it was called Snatched. It was like Amy Schumer and I think Goldie Hawn. It literally was called Snatched, and it was
Oh my
the most
God.
joking play on words I could ever use.
That is crazy. That is insane. So what's the
Oh my
bill?
gosh.
What's the bill for Redbox so far?
I know. Well, now I own it for $20.
All right, okay, but you
It
don't have
was
it to
only
watch
like a
anyway.
dollar, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Never got to see it.
Oh well, let's hope it phases. How long ago was that? When was that?
Honestly, that was years ago. It's been a long time.
Oh right. Oh, so it's just
I
never.
moved, completely moved houses and locations since then. So it's in the ether.
Imagine if it turns up at your new location.
Oh my gosh, I could not imagine that.
You would just kind of like
I'll have a
explode with
story.
excitement.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
I know, but
That's
that
so funny.
just it just makes you think like, well, where does it go? Like, because
Mm-mm.
obviously in our physical minds, we just think, well, it can't just disappear. You know that
I
it must
know,
be
right?
somewhere. You see, you try to rationalize it, but these things, I mean, with crystals and things like that, it happens all the time. Like they just
Yes.
disappear. With a DVD
Yeah.
called
That one was
Snatched,
weird.
that's
I know,
yeah,
called Snatched.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
really bizarre, really bizarre.
Yeah, that was the most bizarre I've had an experience in my life. But I often with crystals, not so much losing, but I can um witness testimony to the protection that they have and the energy shielding essentially that is constantly being emitted.
Mm,
And if you come into contact or in the field of another energy that could be higher, lower, stronger, could potentially break that crystal or lose it
mm.
because of the the energy coming into contact with each other. And
Yeah.
what happened with me specifically is I was working in the hospital a couple years ago. I had 3 forms of protection on. I had a crystal ring similar to this crystal ring. I had a necklace and a bracelet,
Mm.
and they were all just crystals. And the same day I was working in the hospital, my bracelet broke and all the beads just fell onto the ground. I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, that's sad." And then I hit my hand, my ring shattered, and my necklace completely broke off my neck and fell on the ground, all in
Wow.
the same day, mind you, all 3 different pieces of crystals. And I can't even tell you how much of the feeling I was possibly under an attack or some kind, but the crystal's energy, that frequency, most likely was a block or a shield or protectant to
Mm.
be stronger than whatever is coming in, because I have no explanation for that situation, to be honest.
Mm. That's really
Very
unusual.
interesting.
I've heard of
Yeah.
them breaking, and I've heard of them shattering, and I've heard of them going missing. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I've that's a new one for me for sure. And I know
Yeah.
that they do react under certain conditions. So if there's extremely negative vibrations, and if they're quite a high vibrating crystal anyway, then sometimes they do react by breaking and shattering, which is something that what's the energy like where you work at the hospital? Is it quite low frequency?
I feel like any hospital is just full of, low vibes,
Mm.
fear, disease, all that. Luckily,
Mm.
I'm no longer working at the hospital. I work from home, but you
Yeah.
can definitely feel I would have to shield and ground and charge myself before going into the building every morning,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
you could feel instantly walking in there the heaviness of
Yeah.
what could possibly be, coming into my field aura field. So I
What's
would often ground with the shield, kind of similar to your tapestry in the back there, like
mm. Yeah, yeah,
with that aura
yeah.
protected. Yeah.
Protect your aura. Yeah. Do you get a sense or a feeling of when you walk in somewhere that where there's like sort of like a negative energy or a low vibration? Do you
Oh yeah.
what do you
There's definitely
feel
that.
physiologically
Mhm.
within yourself?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question, because we can all develop that sense of, frequency and energy and the effect on the body.
And it's all
But for
different
me,
for
it's
each of us, isn't it? It's everyone
yeah,
experiences
it's
it totally
exactly.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we need to be paying attention and aware of our feelings and emotions
Mm.
given where we are, because that tells us what's going on, literally.
Yeah, yeah.
But for me, I feel dense, heavy. I don't feel like floaty and light, just like floating through
Mm.
like I normally do. It's like almost like a sticky stuck feeling. Like
Mm.
my heart maybe start to go a little faster, just trying to almost feel like I'm trying to figure something out, or like,
Mm.
I just feel like I don't know, just not in tune. I'm not in flow. It
Is it
just feels dense and heavy.
like a panicky sort of feeling, like a
Not so much panicky than
apprehensive, maybe.
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels heavier.
Mm.
Like, I don't know how to explain that. Carbon versus crystalline,
Mm.
dense versus light. It's kind of,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Mm.
yeah, it's actually interesting you say that, because when I was working at the hospital, I would feel that heaviness often. And it
Mm.
wasn't until I decided to um, do like a quick meditation to affirmations, even, or just like something really simple to just
Mm.
kind of make it lighter. And it
Mm.
would shift, because I would carry that and I would just feel like something's on me, essentially, like, oh, what is this feeling? I don't like it. It just
Yeah.
like feels heavy. And so to be able to go somewhere just for a minute to do some like affirmations or just kind of reset, it changes instantly. And I feel that a little bit lighter to carry through. But it is like a dance constantly, depending on what you're interacting with.
Mm.
Energy is always changing.
Yeah. And I think the more high vibed you become and the more sensitive you become, you are you become more kind of, I wouldn't use the word attacked, but you become very much more aware
Yeah. Yeah.
of a shift in frequency within your body. Because I know there's a few I've recently just changed jobs myself, so I'm on like less hours. So I've got more time to do this work.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
Yes.
work. It's joy. It's pleasure. It's
Mhm.
what I enjoy doing. So it's not. I don't class it as work. But I know when I am there, there are certain points where I'll be around certain people, customers, random interactions with people, and I'll just feel really dizzy. I'll just come over like really dizzy all of a sudden, and then it will just go away. And
Yeah.
then if I come back into contact with that person again, I'll feel that energy again, like that heaviness that's just being emitted from them. Just that, like, and again, sometimes I'll get that sort of a little bit of a racing heart feeling, like a little bit of, like I say,
Yeah.
it's not like anxiousness, but for me, it feels like an apprehensiveness, like,
Yeah.
oh, what's this?
I get that.
What's going to happen? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, that feeling of just feeling quite drained, that can come over me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's good just for us to be more. The more you do this kind of work and the more you get used to it, you are more aware of your own energy and your own frequency anyway, and how you feel. So you know that
Yeah.
when there is a
For
disruption
sure.
in the force, so to speak, then you kind of like, you know what's happening. You know that there is
Yeah.
something there. So
Exactly. I
yeah,
love that.
it's just good for us to have this knowledge, isn't it? Just to be able to
Oh
share.
yeah. Exactly. I mean, understanding that we're a frequency, everything is a frequency, nothing's solid. We're literally vibrating particles.
Mm,
I mean, everything is energy. So just play with it. What does it feel like? What is it like for you?
yeah.
Something I did want to add, that I was listening to a podcast the other day about um gosh, I don't know if this is going to segue a little differently, but that's okay. um Frequencies and okay, let me restate that. Different frequencies and the effect on the blood or the cells or the DNA, essentially.
Mm,
And one of the things they talk about a lot is the frequencies coming into our aura field that are of a specific frequencies that make us feel these types of things we're talking about, the anxiousness, the heavy.
mm,
And so it's not always a person we're interacting with or a place we're going, but we're bombarded with frequencies
mm,
constantly, right? And so even just realize when you're feeling that in your home or something like that, or a building, a place, something that is crazy bombarded with frequencies. And what I'm getting at is Wi-Fi frequencies and
mm,
technology frequencies, screens, like all this type of AI type frequencies. Wi-Fi specifically has a huge impact on the blood in making it not in the most true form, we'll say,
mm,
and causing dis-eases. But the real thing coming back to that is, if you were to unplug your Wi-Fi at night, what that would feel like for you and what your sleep pattern and sleep would do. And the
mm.
changes have been researched and documented night and day, literally.
Yeah.
Um, just because we're always buzzing with something. There's always something that's like we're processing, because we're processors, like as energy. We're like
Mm,
trying to decipher what is this energy coming in. So we can't fully relax. We can't fully be in flow if there's
mm.
external or internal frequencies that aren't kind of at balance, if you will. So I just
Yeah.
kind of want to invite people to look into what that would look like if you unplugged your Wi-Fi at night, or if you put your phone down from a specific night or time at night rather than all night. Like, does that buzzing or anxiousness or whatever that feeling kind of calm down and kind of
Mm,
go into a more regulated state? Or I don't know, the video games we watch, the movies, just instead of a little bit longer of this external frequency that we're putting in, to cut it off for a little bit and just be in organic states and see how that difference feels, because that in itself is a good baseline test to see how you react and interact with frequencies all day every day, to be
yeah.
able to feel and sense that. So because
Yeah.
that's something we all have in our houses, so I just think that was a good one to be aware of.
Definitely. It's a really, really good point, actually. And it's something that we tend to forget, don't we? Because it's just part of everyday life these days, that
Right.
wherever you go,
Exactly.
there is Wi-Fi. Everyone relies on a Wi-Fi signal. You know, as soon as you go into
Mhm.
a coffee shop, oh, what's the password for the Wi-Fi? You know,
Exactly.
straight away, wherever you
Yeah.
go, you need that.
We're
And
programmed.
it is everywhere. It is absolutely
Mhm.
everywhere. And it does bombard you in it. Like, goodness knows what it is actually doing to our physiology and what it is actually doing to our blood. You know,
Yeah.
there's lot of rumors, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about it, but with every part of that, there's always a nugget of truth in there somewhere. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
plus with all the stuff that gets put in there as well, that additions that we hear about,
Exactly.
so yeah,
Yeah.
you just don't know what's going on or what's happening. But that's a really
Yeah.
really good point to be aware of that. Plus it
Yeah.
because it all messes with your like sort of circadian rhythm, so like it messes up with your
Right.
whole sleep pattern, your awake pattern, and the
Your
screens
brain waves, your
themselves
heart.
is
Yeah.
the LCD screen that sort of,
Yeah.
because you can't actually see the flicker because it's always there, the flicker is actually creating another brainwave, and it's
Yeah.
making you
Exactly.
think that you're awake. You don't need to go to sleep. So if you keep
Exactly.
looking at a screen on late on a night, you're going to take
Hmm.
extra long to shut down.
Literally.
And then we've got like all the other things within everyday life, like the food, the high sugars,
Yes.
the processed
Yes.
food. Your body
Everything.
is constantly working to try and move this stuff through your system and shift it out
Right.
basically. But you're just putting more and more in. And
Exactly. Yeah.
another reason why many people are going back to sort of more of a natural form of diet where they're eating like plenty of
Yeah.
fruit and vegetables, foliage, and yeah, just having more of a switched off life. I mean, I know, yeah, we've got the internet, we need to
Right.
use it for our gains, but not allow it to use us for its gains.
Absolutely. Well said.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could talk about this now forever because this is my favorite topic. But really, it's exciting, and knowing we have tools to
mm,
rebalance that
mm,
frequency into harmony with crystals, with meditation, with visualization, with all
mm,
these amazing. Well, now we're having technology coming out, which is great. I just heard recently, even though they've been around for a while, but they're new to me, this company that literally charges any object with the frequency that you desire. So your clothes can be charged, your anything can be charged, your phone can be charged, even
mm,
EMF protectors, just like little things like that. Just there's technology, there's crystals, there's so many things out there that we can prevent that from the
mm.
frequencies from taking over and controlling our lives, which is
Yeah,
that narrator monkey mind that is
yeah,
constantly going.
yeah,
But yeah, it's so true. The brain waves, the heart rate, all of that is creates our reality, and we
mm,
can take control of that when we realize the frequencies that are causing us to shift in and out of health and disease. It's all
yeah,
frequency.
yeah.
So I love that.
Do you
Yes.
think a lot of this technology and this stuff that is coming out now, do you think it's been known about longer than what it has been? Do you think it's been around for a lot longer?
100%. It's
Yeah.
been unfortunately suppressed
Mm,
from humanity. But that's the thing is, like you said, we're all now, it seems like more so, are more drawn to a healthy diet, a healthy um, body, a healthy type of clothing or a lifestyle or a
mm,
diet, anything. Like we're all
mm,
kind of returning to a more of our true self. So
mm.
we're going to see more of that shedding to become more light and more
Yeah.
connected to the unified field source. Like that's
Yeah.
really all it is. So we're
Yeah.
going to see the suppression of all this great stuff because that's the duality polarity. We're not
Mm,
supposed to be light. We're supposed to be heavy and dense in their
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the opposite. So I think it's exciting to see us all returning lighter,
Mm,
collaborating, connecting. I mean, our ripples are so huge. The light
mm,
is so exciting.
yeah.
We're just rampant everywhere.
It's amazing to be around in this. Like, who would have ever thought that like our souls would have signed up for something like this? But when you're actually in it and you're
I
seeing it
know.
and you're living it, this
So
is
funny.
like this is a pinnacle time for humanity. And
So true. Yeah.
you still see a lot of posts though that are sort of, they're still stuck a little bit in the past, and they're still stuck in like what's happened,
Yes.
and they haven't got past that, and um they haven't done that bit of healing work. They're still stuck
Yep.
in that,
Absolutely.
those years not so long ago that we must never mention. But, but
Right.
yeah, there's still a lot of people that are stuck in that. But I just see it like whenever I see that now, I just scroll straight past because it doesn't resonate anymore. It's just we've been
Right.
there, we've done that, we've got the knowledge, we've empowered
Exactly.
ourselves, and we're way past it.
Exactly.
Mm,
And it seems like even in the future, we're in the past or the future a lot, but being in the now is where the magic happens
yeah,
and just being in flow. So I totally agree with that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I saw a meme today, and it was Osho. I think it was on Facebook or something like that. And and it was I can't remember every part about it, but it was like why are humans not happy? And it was like when a bird is always happy, an animal is always happy because it's not seeking happiness, it already is happiness. But the human
Yes,
is always looking for happiness rather than
true.
being in the present moment and living the happiness that is there already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So well said. Yes,
Mm,
I love that.
yeah.
And that is so much truth. Live
Yeah.
it and be it.
Live it and be it. Absolutely. So what's on the cards then for the future then? Obviously you've got all this the sound healing going on. What is anything else?
Yeah.
Well, I know you've got enough going on really, but is there anything
I
else?
know, right? Um, you know, I feel like this year is gonna be to the point where I can't have like expectations and just kind of like we're saying, flow and go.
Go with
So
it. Yeah.
go with it. What's gonna come up? I know we're gonna have collaborations more because that's just what I've been attracting, and
Mm,
that's been great. So I'm excited to see what this year holds. I know we'll have a clean planet here
mm,
with all the
yeah.
cleanup I'm planning on doing with this warmer weather and just, I don't know, be in tune. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what it feels like.
There's a lot more of that stuff like the cleaning up and the clearing and the getting rid of litter and garbage in the streets. There's so much more of that going on around here as well.
Awesome.
Volunteers and and that free like
Yeah,
people might not realize it, but that frequency that we're emitting, that is creating that. It's creating that change, and people are stepping
exactly.
onto it. And you see huge groups of people just going around and clearing up. You're like, wow, this is like it's really really taking shape.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. And even just us two being able to have all these examples of things happening around the world, just
Mm,
us to have these examples, just
mm.
imagine what really is happening all the time,
Yeah,
everywhere. Like it's
yeah.
leaps and bounds, exciting
Everybody
shift,
else. Yeah,
change, light and love,
yeah,
anchoring into the planet.
yeah.
And just
Absolutely.
trust at this point.
Yeah.
Let
Just
go.
trust and let it. Yeah, let go. That's a
I
big one
know.
for a lot of people. Yeah, just letting go.
Yep.
Um,
Don't let
yeah,
the narrator mind again, the monkey mind.
yeah,
Be the
yeah.
controller. Take it back.
It's
Harmonize.
very easy for that to step in, isn't it? Very easy. I mean, there must. Is there a point in your days or anything that sort of like gets your monkey mind going? Is there something that triggers you that starts making things fire up? And what's your way of dealing with it?
That's a good question. So I think kind of reverting back to what we were saying when it's constantly go, 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 where you're like on your phone or you're doing this and it's not taking a time to ground for a moment or have a moment for myself. I
Mm,
really do feel the buzzing, like not grounded in my body. I just feel like
mm,
I'm reacting all the time.
yeah.
And so I know that's because I am outside of my body essentially. And to be able to bring it in with breathing exercises, just cutting off the externals for a second, closing your eyes, just 3 breaths is really all it takes to kind of recalibrate.
Mm,
But again, it's just, I've realized it's because I'm bombarded with these frequencies and no longer vibrating in harmony. And so I feel like I'm reacting. My mind is just like, do this. You want to eat this bad food. You want to do this. It really is a ripple effect
yeah.
of the frequency that you're emitting intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah. This this circle that I'm doing with Lucy,
Mm.
it's based on masculine and feminine energies because she does work predominantly a lot with her in her like women's circles at her house. She does a lot of them, but she wanted to work more with the masculine.
Mhm.
So that's why we've kind of like come together and done it, put
Okay.
this out there and put it on board. Um,
Yes.
so that would be quite interesting for us to talk about. I think is the like the masculine and feminine energy because when you speak about that, and when you talk about masculine and feminine energy to your everyday Joe blogs who might just like not have a clue, they might just think, well, a man does this and a woman does that, you know. But when we're talking about the frequency of masculine energy and feminine energy, you know, that's what you just said there about all this kind of like go, 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 and not taking that time to just tune into your feelings and tune into your emotions. That is the imbalance. So then
Right.
when you start to tune back into your emotions and what you're feeling and just breathing and just stopping that go, 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 and
Yeah.
that is the balance of the masculine and feminine.
Mhm,
Would you agree
mhm,
with that?
mhm. Absolutely. Yes. Um, with that, even to take the breath example a little further with that, um, when you're breathing and you inhale and you exhale, that brief pause before you start the inhale again,
Mm,
that is that 0 point field where everything is possible. That
mm,
merge of balance of masculine, feminine, just that space alone, that quiet, that stillness, to bring more of that into your life is how you really can attain that balance.
yeah.
And with frequency, I also wanted to say, because I always am a visual person with patterns, and that's just how I think. So when I think of masculine and feminine, I'm thinking about the geometries that they are in nature or
Mm,
everywhere. So masculine is waves and feminine is straight lines. But you have to have both in order to have balance. You have to
mm,
have curves and straight lines. You have to have magnet and electric. We have to have left and right. You have to have both in order to have
mm,
one. And so there's just different ways of looking at it. Left brain and right brain, masculine, feminine,
yeah.
electric, magnetic. There's so many ways to look at it, but it's all just a balance of energy. You need to have, can't just be flow and nurturing all the time. You
Mm,
need to be able to have some protective energy of yourself. You have, and that comes in waves. And when you're in a straight line and you're in, it's just, it just is energy. It's just
mm,
frequency. It's not one or the other. This one's good, this one's bad, or this one
yeah.
comes when I'm masculine, I'm doing this, or it's not like that at all. That
Mm,
is really the disconnect in the program that's gone really, really away from the truth of what
mm,
is going on within energy. That's it. It comes back to that, the
yeah.
balance of the two.
Yeah. That's really nicely explained. The waves thing is something that I always connect with the waves when I'm meditating. I just think of the waves as with the breath, you know, the moving in and the moving
Mhm.
out, um,
Totally.
and going with the energy. But it's interesting how you say the waves would be the masculine and the straight line would be the feminine, and I thought it would might be the other way around. For me, it felt like maybe the the waves would be because the waves is that kind of like flowing nature element, you know. For me,
Yeah, I could have that
that's
backwards,
just
but
for
yeah,
me. That's just for me
no, for
personally, you
sure.
know. So that's
I
kind of
could
like
have that backwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it just felt like the water morphed
Yeah.
the feminine flow energy, the straight direct line is kind of like because for me that's like the action, so that's the masculine, like the putting things into place and getting it done.
Right.
So yeah, but
Yeah, light and sound waves is another version. The sound
yeah,
waves and then the light. It's
yeah,
it's all it's all two, both,
yeah,
depending on what you look at. It's so true though.
yeah. So when you've worked with is it EEG?
Hmm.
Yeah, when you work with EEG, what is what is actually happening with the brain then if when you play certain sound waves, have you actually experimented with that to see what happens in with the brain?
I personally haven't. I've just done research because that's something I want to go down. Eventually, I would love to get my own EEG equipment and put it on
Mm,
people and do my own sessions essentially. But that's not something, I don't have EEG equipment here. I'm monitoring brains all over,
mm,
which is, I mean, we've seen the effects of EEG on the brain with music and all of that. And depending on the frequency, of course, what
mm,
it does to the brain waves, bring it into a harmonious flow state, essentially, with like delta, theta, alpha, just kind of
mm,
a mix instead of a lot of time we have electricity is our muscles. It takes a lot of
mm,
electricity to move our muscles. So on EEG, a lot of the time you see people's like face is tense, like there's a lot of overriding muscle because we're not
Right.
relaxing in flow state. So that has been really eye-opening to see too how many people are just in a tense state.
Mm,
But then knowing that when we listen to certain frequencies, we can bring it into a theta state or alpha state where we're connected with all of these states that correlate to, telepathy,
mm,
intelligence, all this amazing stuff. So there is direct effect, and I would love to play more with that in the future. But
mm.
I'm just I'm monitoring all the time.
Yeah.
But something I just thought of that I wanted to circle back to, we mentioned different lights, like the LCD lights, or something I've noticed in EEG a lot is different supermarkets or stores, especially big places like Walmart or Costco, any of these like big corporations. The frequency of their lights is a very low frequency. And I cannot tell you how many people have seizures in these locations because of just the light frequency affecting them.
Ah,
And it's incredible to see just stores alone, the effect that it has on the brain and causing seizures and causing discomfort and dis-ease, essentially out of balance, because the
right.
frequency is so impactful and dangerous, essentially.
Is that
So
because of LED lights, do you think?
yes.
Because they're a
Hmm.
huge thing now, aren't they? LED is just everywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately it is true. And so we have to be careful with that. And I think that also pushes us to be more intentional about, as consumers, what who we're supporting, and intentionally what we want for ourselves and the planet, because it all really correlates to one. By not supporting these places that are having direct effect on our bodies, we can get rid of that and create something new that's more organic and balanced and real for everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it was just really interesting to see the
Mm,
effects on the brain with our external environments that
yeah.
we're in, like we were talking about before. But I've seen the direct frequencies of the brain changing because of it. So it's it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, it is important because at the end of the day, the brain is what controls everything. It controls our
Processor.
movements. It's the processor. It controls the emotions. How you deal with your emotions, and yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it's paramount to have this knowledge, to have this understanding of what is actually going on,
Yeah,
in the brain.
absolutely.
And
And
then
we're
when it's
not even
been,
getting into the other harmful frequencies.
mm,
This is just
that's
the
just
least
what.
harmful.
Yeah, yeah. That's just a couple of them. The Wi-Fi and the light, and the
Yeah.
screen. The actual screen
Yeah.
itself, and then obviously with
And
the
food.
screen and the
Yeah.
visuals that we're getting in the screen,
Yeah.
the the social anxiety, though, I must look like this, I must have that body, I must be able to buy that, I must have this much money, and that plays
Right.
on the emotions and plays on the mind and creates more
For
um
sure.
tension in the mind, and that tenses up the body, which locks in
Right.
the emotions and gets the emotions stuck in the body. And then you have to
Right.
try and find someone to be able to release the emotions, or go to your doctor and have lots of pharmaceuticals thrown down your neck. So yeah.
So true. Yeah. So true. Oh man. Yeah. The
Yeah.
energies.
Yeah. Energy is everything, which is what we
Yes.
always
I
say.
guess also the moral of the story, get out of your head and into your heart.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
And just that's where the letting go and flow comes from, because you're just feeling, you're not reacting and thinking. You're just, what does it feel
Yeah.
like from the
Yeah.
heart?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because that's where they want us all stuck in the head. That's
I
fundamentally
know.
what it is. They just want us all stuck in the head, overthinking, over emotional,
Yes. Yes.
unhappy, stuck in our thoughts, unable to get out of
Yes.
them. Whereas, as soon as you step into the heart and just convert your thinking into your actual body,
Hmm.
it makes a huge, huge difference. And I think that
Yeah.
is that in itself can be discovered and found just by the way you change your breathing.
Yes. So true. 100%.
Stop breathing into the chest and breathe into your belly, and just
Yeah.
allow that
Yeah.
breath to go into your belly, and it grounds you,
With
and it
visualization.
connects. Yeah, it grounds you and connects you to your body, and just
Hmm.
visualize that and see what you're seeing going on in your body, connecting
Exactly.
deeply.
Expanding
Yeah.
that part. I mean, we can't forget too, it's 100 times more magnetic than the brain. So really, if we come from the heart, we truly mean and feel what we want and what we're attracting, that magnetic field will
Mm.
bring that in so much quicker than what you're thinking you want. It's more
Yes.
what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know and feel, and that is
Yeah.
going to be drawn in like the strongest magnet ever, way faster than just thinking about it.
Yeah. And that's why, like in movies, like we always see in movies where these superheroes always have something at the chest.
Good point.
Superman has the big S. Iron Man
Yeah,
has that Tesla thing in his chest or whatever. All these
so true.
superheroes always have something at the chest. So what is it to do with the heart? You know,
Yeah,
a lot of people just watch it for the excitement and for whatever it is that's going on in the movie, but it's the symbology of the heart that is the key to
that's
everything.
right. That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Wonderful.
The connection to home.
Just one last thing before we end, because we've yeah, about an hour nearly. Um, what's your perception on time at the minute? I'm asking
Mm.
everybody this because time seems to be extremely fleeting and it is moving at a rate of knots.
Oh
Do you
man, yeah.
think do you think that's because of our effect and our vibration on the planet and where we are energetically, or do you think it's something else? What's your thoughts on that?
Mm. Man, that actually is a, a really good question. I think it's two parts because I think energy is always in the form of possibility and probability in terms that nothing is for certain going to be. So I always just kind of like take that neutral perspective at everything.
Mm,
So with that, I think that naturally our system that we're in, the galactics, cosmos, whatever you want to refer to, um, is also on this organic cycle, and it is going through this speeding up change. But I do believe that our impact speeds it up more, but I think it's inevitable of that speeding up. But the
mm,
more we're in tune and align with it, we can see it, not see it, we can have more of that magic where it's like invisible essentially because it is so instant because we've matched with it. But I think
mm.
it's always going. We just have to meet with it essentially.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
That's interesting. I've never heard that one yet. So that's interesting. Interesting to hear your concept on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all do have different outlooks, experiences, and there's
Mm.
no right or wrong. And I think
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
most exciting thing about it. No comparison.
Yeah. Totally open. Totally open to anyone's thoughts, beliefs, opinions on what is or
Yeah.
what isn't. So yeah, that's really good
That's a
to
very good
hear.
question though. I want to see what other people think on that too. Thank you for
Yeah.
asking that.
No, you're welcome. You can use that in the in future collaborations, see what other people say.
Right? I
Um,
just have a question.
yeah, but it's yeah, it just seems to be like whoosh, like where's that, like yeah, last year was a prime example. Last
Oh
year
my
was just
gosh,
like
so true.
whoosh, gone. You're just like, huh?
Oh my gosh. Every
What?
year is like shorter,
Yeah,
shorter, shorter feeling
yeah. And
faster,
I
speeding up.
and I know, like, obviously your parents and your grandparents when you were a kid, they always used to say, well, they used to say to me, oh, when you get older the time goes a lot faster, you know. And yeah, it
That's true.
does, but even like younger people are saying it, you know, so it's not just
Hmm.
the older
Right.
people, the
So
younger
true.
people are seeing it and noticing it. So
Mm,
energetically there is something definitely going on with it.
absolutely.
And that's why we have to appreciate every moment while it's there.
Hmm. And even just thinking about these concepts are huge in expanding your soul and your connection with everything.
Mm,
Just
yeah,
thinking about the possibilities.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Nicole, it's been wonderful to chat again, as
Yeah.
always.
Yes.
Must do it
Thank you.
again in another 6 months to a
Another
year, or
space time.
whenever, another whatever it whenever it happens. It would be wonderful
Yeah.
to connect again. But yeah,
Great.
but keep doing what you're doing, and I know
Thank you. Same.
whatever you do is going to be absolutely amazing. You're going to achieve because you always do and you always will, and it's always coming from the heart, which is the key. So yeah, so it's been wonderful chatting, and I look forward to
Thank you.
speaking to you again.
Yeah, same. And good luck with all your future endeavors and amazing projects going on.
Thank
It's
you.
so good to hear where you're at and all the things you're doing. So thank you for connecting.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.